Murphy's Ridge. It's not bad. Ooh, this is a lemon cherry gelato. What's up?
Hey, hey, what happened over here?
Oh shit! I guess dude was on meth or some shit.
He was on some drugs, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like
hey, he was in the bathroom doing some meth, huh?
I guess so.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think he was all in the bathroom like earlier that day. He had a chick, so I ain't paying no mind because I'm just like, I mean, it's a nigga in the bathroom with a bitch. Like two and two is four. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't tripped because it ain't had nothing to do with me, and he ain't stopped me from going to the bathroom.
So what did he do? Would he rape her?
Somebody, the way the cops were saying was that they made it seem like he texted the cops and said that somebody had got raped and there was a gun somewhere. So like when I came out, like first of all, when I first came out back here, because I was doing a live stream, so first came out back here, the cops was right there, and they was asking me like, "Did you text or did you call or whatever?" I'm like, "Nah, none of that."
Can I ask you that?
Huh?
Can I ask you that?
Nah, the cops, they was here. They was like right there. Like I was in there and I heard the dogs going crazy, so that's what made me come out here. When I came out here, the cops was all up there and shit. So I wasn't thinking nothing of it because I'm just like, oh, it must be some commotion going over there. But then when that's like when they seen me, they asked me like, did you call or did you text? I'm like, nah. So I went back in the room just chilling, and then I hear some commotion coming from the front. So I go out in the front, and sure enough, they getting the dude or like whatever. And then they asking me like, "What's your relationship? How do you know him?" I'm like, "I'm just staying at this Airbnb. I don't know him for nothing. Like me and him had like a couple conversations. He cool, but like I don't know him." And they like, "Oh well, can we come inside and talk to you?" Type shit. I'm just like, "Nah, that's not my place. Like I can't consent to you coming in. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not my place. I don't got the authority." And they like, "Oh, you got the authority to da da da." I'm like, "Nah, but I don't." So y'all can do whatever, but like I can't let y'all in here. Like y'all can talk to me out there. So like they patted me down, made sure I ain't had no weapons and shit or whatever.
Did they find a gun or no?
I don't know. Next thing I know, they like taking him away, and then right before they take him away, one of the main cops he tried to come in again. He tried to get me to like get him to come in. I'm just like nah. Like you can talk to me, whatever you need to say. You can talk to me just over here. So he's like basically we got a call or no, he said we got a text. That's exactly what he said. He said we got a text saying that somebody had been raped and there was a gun involved. And I was just like, man, I don't know nothing about none of that going on here. Like, I'm just as oblivious as you are. And then they took him off, and then it was everything was straight. So
He was here for a minute, huh?
he was here for like a little bit under a
Hey,
week.
was it the girl that he's just a random girl he brought home? It wasn't that girl that was here that was.
Nah. It was like literally a random girl. Like, just one, like, for real, it was just that morning. I think it was, no, it was the night before. So the night before, he had brought a girl over, and I guess apparently Sam told him he couldn't have her over, but like she was there the next morning too. So that's what I was saying. Like
Damn,
at one point,
he was breaking all the rules.
yeah. So at one point, I had done my thing because I had to like make some moves to go out anyway. So like I had already used the bathroom. So, but like by the time I left, like when I got out of the bathroom, both of them had went in the bathroom, and I'm just like, all right, I know what time it is, but like I'm leaving anyway, so shit don't bother me. It don't affect me none. I think it did bother or affect the girl though, cause
Why?
she was just on some weird time, bro. Like
She gone now, huh?
she gone, but like I'm
About
happy.
her.
Yeah, she was on some. Yeah, it was some other
Damn,
shit.
bro, what's wrong with you?
Well, her, she's probably. I think she might have been racist or so. I don't know. I honestly like. I don't want to think that she racist. She ain't say nothing to me, but like just the way she was acting
I don't
was.
think she's racist, bro. I just think she has like a little fucking mental issue. problem, bro.
It might have been that, or somebody might have done something to her. But like the thing is, like she at one point she started acting like she didn't want to be in the room with me, and I'm just like, well, you can just go out like there, like you know what I'm saying? Like you chose to literally be in this room now. Like you was out on the couch first.
Oh, she wanted to be in the room with you?
Yeah. And then she started like, so it was like by day two, she started like complaining, but like not about anything specifically. Like
Yeah.
she was just like acting like she didn't want to be in the room with me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right. And she was like, and it's cold in here too, and you got the fan going. I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, I feel you with the fan, but like if you trying to get warmer in here, this is like the coldest room in the house. You know what I'm saying? So like if you want to be warm, like you can go out on the couch, and the couch is actually more comfortable than this bed that you on, and you got the heat out there. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah, it is. I can literally show you where the heat is if you want me to. She's like, no, I don't want you to show me. I'm just like, all right, cool, whatever. Like, fuck it. Like, and then she just kept doing little shit to like try to antagonize me, and I'm just like,
For real?
yeah, like, all right. So the first night, what was it? The first night, whoever was outside. They was a little bit noisy, but no, it wasn't even them. It was her. So she can't. She had her alarm going off at like 6:15 in the morning. I swear to God, she gets her phone. Her alarm's still going off, still going off, still going off, still going off. She's like clearly looking straight at her phone at this point and doing everything. Like now she's under the covers with her phone. The fucking alarm is still going off. So I'm just like, fuck it. So I just put on a fan noise video on YouTube, put the covers on my head. I'm cool.
Yo, she tripping.
But then that's not even it. So I'm like, at that point, I'm you know, it's whatever. Like I'm already up. I'm not bothered at this point because it's just like, what can you do? She done already done the shit. So she in the bathroom for like literally an hour, like literally a fucking hour. Um, yeah, nah. It was one of the first nights or the second nights, but one of the nights I told her specifically, like, you know what I'm saying? No, it was the second night because I already knew, I started to see her pattern. I knew she'd be staying in the bathroom for a minute. So the second night it was, I told her, I was like, yo, like, I got to go to the bathroom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Can you let me do my thing first and then you do your thing? She's like, okay. So I smoke a little bit, you know what I'm saying? You smoke a little bit and shit, get you out. And then, so right when I'm about to walk into the fucking bathroom, she goes straight in. Stays in that bitch for an hour. Stays in there for an hour. Then, by this point, I don't got to take a shit no more. So I'm just like, fuck it. So, yeah.
Was she doing that too?
Now, I don't know, bruh. Like, I swear, I really don't know. Like, she was on that weird type of time where I wouldn't be surprised if she was doing that.
I mean, you can tell, bro. Like, you can smell it. You can tell.
I don't be knowing, because I ain't never been around. It's just like, you don't know you around certain people who do certain drugs unless you know that you around them. And then it's like, so I ain't never actively knowingly been around a meth head. So I don't know what to look for. Like, I don't know the smells. So like, she could have been doing what the fuck ever, but like, I live like say la vie. So do whatever as long as you're not bothering me. But she was starting to actually bother, like actually antagonize me. And I was just like, come on. So like, that's what I'm saying. So the second night, um, because of the whole fan noise situation, mind you, nigga, she woke me up keeping her alarm on. So the second night, it's like 10:30 at this point, or whatever time. She does a whole bunch of shit, eats, showers, shits, whatever she does, then comes into the room, and I'm watching a video like on my laptop. She comes into the room automatically with the rain noise video, and I'm just like,
What the fuck?
and I'm just like, for real. And I'm just like, all right, well, yo, do you mind? Like, I don't mind if you like had that on, cause like I understand having some kind of noise to have you go to sleep, and I'm kind of like the same. But like right now, I'm like actually watching a video. Like, do you mind just turning that down a little bit? And she was like, well, no, because if I turn it down, then I won't be able to hear my alarm. Blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, I mean, I feel you, but like at the same time, like you just came in here with your phone on full blast with the rain noise on. I'm already like watching a video type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to compete with sounds and shit. So yeah, she just had that shit on the whole time, and then yeah, so she was,
Because
yeah.
I was like, bro, I ain't gonna. Let me tell you something, my nigga. Let me tell you something. So, I I'm almost certain they were smoking dope in that bathroom. I'm pretty certain that they were doing that. All right, they was doing that shit in
I
there.
mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
And he know and Anna know, bro. They know them motherfuckers in there doing that shit, bro. Because that brought some negative attention this way. When they now that you telling me that they was in there like doing drugs and shit,
Yeah.
they brought that negative attention here, nigga. When they did that shit,
What happened?
nigga, they brought some negative attention. They thought that shit was gonna fucking try to destroy whatever sector they was in over here, like disrupt the area and shit, doing that shit, bro. They really thought, nigga, because you know what I'm saying, like just yesterday, or was it yesterday, day before yesterday, I was at work, bro. This motherfucker gonna have the audacity to ask me outside my fucking job, nigga. Do you mind if I smoke this dope right here? Like, what the fuck? You got this dope in the trash, nigga. This nigga asked me that question, bro. This is right after this shit, bro. Like, what the fuck, nigga? Niggas is really on that dumb time and shit, nigga. They really finna fuck they self. Like, nigga.
There's a lot of meth out here.
It's problematic. It's problematic, nigga. They see they can't get to a nigga a certain way. They'll try to do a stupid ass desperate way, nigga. Like, what the fuck, nigga? Stupid as shit. But anyway, fucking, you didn't, shit. That's crazy, bro. They was in there for a long time and shit.
Well, like,
They could have just fucking, like,
what she was doing was like washing her clothes and doing a whole bunch of other shit.
in the bathroom with him.
Nah, it was two separate incidents.
Oh,
So there's the weird girl that was in the room with me, and then there was a dude that I guess he was on meth, but y'all would have never known. Like he was cool. Like I talked to him a couple times.
bro, you couldn't tell, bro.
Not at all. Like he was nobody. It wasn't till the end because there was another guest that came. So right before that shit happened, I say about 20, 30 minutes before, another guest that came and they like came, took a shower and did some shit. But I didn't know like that they had a little conversation because I'm in the room like minding my own business, doing whatever. So like nobody could tell nothing. Like he was cool, calm, respectful, like well mannered. Like he was cool as a. It's literally like he had to be
Bro,
like
that's
if.
not what you look for, nigga.
I mean, I don't look forward. That's what I'm saying. I don't be looking for people to be on drugs. Like I just look for them to.
So you mean to tell me this nigga must have been on drugs the whole time he was here? Because if you couldn't see no trend trying to change.
Back at it. So we got the GMO cookies. Ooh, we should put the shade up. Put the shade up, bruh. Who in here watching? Announce yourself. Don't be weird. Oh, is this shit not working? Okay, it's working now. David Mendez. What up, David? Oh, shit. Trying to put the shade up. This shit ain't working. There we go. So yeah, we got the Lemon Cherry Gelato, fucking pre-roll by Murphy's Ridge. It was actually real good. I'm not gonna lie, it was a decent pre-roll, and it was $1. So can't complain for $1 for a pre-roll. It was infused. It's a very good pre-roll, actually. I don't know how much it costs regularly, but yeah, I popped off to the Catalyst dispensary, and Murphy's Ridge happened to be there, and they were giving away dollar pre-rolls. So shouts out to Murphy's Ridge. Lemon Cherry Gelato. I think this is the first time I tried Lemon Cherry Gelato. Lemon Cherry Gelato and King Louis the 13th. Then it's got rosin. It's got Keith on the outside and and 50 milligrams THC concentrate. So it's pretty damn good. I wonder if my underarms are are they a little wet? They're a little wet. No, this Libercherry Gelato is actually, the last part of the joint is not great, but that's pretty much par for the course. Pretty par for the course. But yeah, for $1 pre-roll, can't beat that. But it's also why I don't buy pre-rolls, because you always gotta like, you never know what you're really getting unless you know what you're getting, but you gotta like cut it open and shit like that. By the time you cut it open, then you gotta roll it again, and it's just a lot of shit going, bro. But yeah, Libercherry Gelato. Murphy's Ridge, I think it's Murphy's Ridge's greenhouse. And honestly, now that I'm in California and I know exactly what I'm smoking, I can say since I've been back to the States, I have not had any greenhouse. So this is my first taste of greenhouse. But I'm sure I've had plenty of greenhouse prior to me departing the States. Especially back in those DC pop-up days, like, because I remember Chief, shouts out to Chief, shouts out to fucking Jay, You Got Mids, shouts out to that whole scene. But yeah, back in those days, I remember they kept talking about depths. And then it was like, what the fuck is depths? Light deprivation. Light deprivation, greenhouse, that type of shit. Because back then, we used to always just think like indoor, outdoor, and that was just it. We never really thought about like greenhouse. And then when they came out talking about greenhouse and shit, it was like, oh, damn. But by that point, when they was talking about depths and greenhouse and all that shit, and trying to expose people for it, I think I was already smoking white Kanye only at this point, or at least Brothers OG. So. Yeah, this is actually a damn good joint. Especially for $1. If I'd have paid more than, I say this is a decent $10 joint, at least. When you factor in the keef, when you factor in the infusion and all that. A good $10 I pay for this joint. So the fact that I got it for $1, that's cool. The end is a little harsh, but that's to be expected. That's just how it is. What y'all doing? Oh, there's nobody here now, but we got the bubbles. That's some good ass Libercherry Gelato. I ain't gonna lie, I'm surprised. That's got flavor. That's got a good flavor actually. It's not like it's not like a rainbow sherbet. It's not really like a Skittles, but it's very sweet and sort of like sweet fruity candy. Actually, less fruit, more candy. Yeah, sweet candy. I rate that. I fucking rate that. That's actually better than Stizzy 40, I think. I would say. And for $1. So in comparison, let's just say this lemon cherry gelato joint was as good as the best Stizzy 40, which I have a review on. You should do it. You should check that review out if you have not. Check that review out. Tony Hughes. I don't know what that means. But yeah. So let me build a guitar for you. Make it happen. Let's make it happen. You build guitars. Jerry Morgan Jr. Jerry Morgan Jr. Yes. If you would like to, I would love for you to build me a guitar. I'm not in a position where I can pay you for it though. So, unless you're building it pro bono, it's gonna be a while. But since we're here, what would be your ideal Tony Battle guitar? What do you have in mind? Or would you want me to be the creator? Do you have the vision or do you want me to have the vision? It's the end of the joint. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I be fiending. So like I will smoke the joint to the very end of it. That's just me. Jerry Morgan. I appreciate the sentiment though, Jerry. But yeah, check me out. Is that it? That's it. Yeah, that's done. I'm not gonna lie, that was not a bad joint. That was a good joint. Either way, reverse headstock strap for starters. Well, I'm more of a lefty strap, just in general, my damn self. That's why I was so happy. Part of it was great that Cody sent me that guitar. I mean, for many reasons, but the fact that it's a lefty was. But yeah, if it was a Strat, it'd be lefty. If it wasn't a Strat, then I don't know. See, I've always it's weird because like. Nah, that's not true. I was gonna say I would need like two different styles of guitars. Flip my templates, not full blown, left build. I mean, if it's just you building it and you just like doing it on the fly, our beggars can't be choosers. So you can build whatever, and I'd be thankful as a bitch. I'd be thankful as fuck. I'd be like, fuck yeah. So, but yeah, I've always wondered what my perfect guitar would be, and I don't really know. Cause to be honest, one of my favorite shapes, guitar shapes, is the ML. Whether it be like the Washburn ones or the Dean, but Really, I prefer the Washburn ones a bit more. They're just the body's slightly shaped a little bit different. But yeah, like if I were to do templates, it'd be like maybe a Washburn ML shape with like a reverse. Oh, see, it'd be like a combine the Nuno signature with the Dimebag signature, because the Nuno already has the reverse headstock, and I actually do really like the Washburn reverse headstock. It's a cool headstock. Maybe it's just because I associate it with Nuno or what, but it's cool. I remember seeing, I remember seeing that guitar. I remember seeing an N4 back in the old Musicians Friends catalogs back in like 2004. No, 2003. Yeah, 2003. Old Musicians catalogs, man. Those were great. And I remember seeing the reverse headstock and thinking like, that motherfucker's trying to be like Jimmy. And then I ended up meeting, or yeah, I'm meeting Cody, but like, ended up getting acquainted with Cody later on, like a few years later. And he put me on the Nuno Betancourt, and then it just like all clicked. But let's see, the Sun, Vintage Nerd, can't afford real vintage stuff, so start making clones. Oh shit. Hell yeah, that sounds dope. See, I like that type of shit. It's just like when shit comes from I was gonna say lack of necessity, but that's not what the fuck I was thinking about. I don't know. You know what I mean? I like that type of shit. You just took it upon yourself and was like, fuck it. I just learned how to do it myself. Because that's gonna take you further than just, everybody wants to. You could spend $50,000 on like whatever vintage guitar. Not that they really cost 50,000, but I guess some people would pay that. But you could spend 50,000 on a vintage guitar, or you could like literally spend 50,000 on the tools, learning the trade, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, of how to actually make the guitar just like they did in the 50s. You add more value not only to what you got, but then you add value to yourself too, because then you might be put in a position where like, Gibson might hire you one day and be like, oh, this motherfucker makes like some of the best, like, you know what I'm saying, like, shit. And what would they call it? Boutique. Yeah, some like the best boutique guitars. And we got to get him on the Gibson team because he knows how to make like the vintage shit. And he's got like the vintage fucking like gear as far as like how to make the tools. And I love that type of shit. That's how I learned to like do all my pickups and shit. Because I never wanted to pay anybody. Like, same with guitar pedals too. Like, I know how to solder, so I know like if you're making a fuzz face, let's be real, it's gonna take you maybe an hour, top to bottom, to like do all of those fucking like solder joints, and then boom, you got it. Everything else after that is just like the shell and that's if you want to do a fancy shell. You might just put it in a little box that just says fuzz face or FF or fuzz or nothing. So that's one thing I'm actually into is I really want to get into, once I get like my music and stuff back off or on rather, up and going, getting like pedals, like especially like fuzz pedals from different random people who just make pedals. Cause then it's that factor of nobody knows what I have. That's number one. Then there's that second factor of nobody can have what I have. Like, you gotta know what I got. Then you gotta go through loops, bells, and whistles to get it. Get to the person who makes it. If that person isn't me, and all these little things. It's that little bit of, because everybody wants the same. That's what I was saying. I feel like I was saying that maybe on Instagram or something. but everybody wants like the same pedal boards, and it's just like, it's weird. Uh, yeah, the only Relican I'll let slide is the Relican that Cody did, because I know he wasn't like super serious, but that he was just trying to go for like a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can appreciate that, and it adds to the look. Like it, that guitar that Cody let me borrow is a vibe for me. I feel like it's the perfect representation of me right now. It's like a diamond in the rough. Like it's a great fucking guitar. It sounds amazing. But like, you know what I'm saying? At first glance, like if you get in your hand at first glance, well, I didn't do this because I'm more and especially, I I don't know. I just feel like if you were like a vintage snob or something, you get it and be like, oh, what's this? And it's just like, you dig. You just play it. Play it, and I bet you that motherfucker's great. And sure enough, it is great. It's like it's a great guitar. Shouts out to Cody, man. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Did the bud fall out? Yeah. So now that we're here, I would say I rate that lemon cherry gelato pre-roll. I got blocked by the thing. Don't go overboard with it unless it's getting paid. Yeah, I don't even like the Asian will come. I just like a nice plain factory nitro finish. Because then all the relicing that happens is me. And then what ends up happening too is when I get certain marks, like my favorite guitars, all my guitars are in Australia, but my favorite one, I remember it got one particular mark, and this mark bothered me for like weeks. Because I'm just like, but then you just grow with it, and it's just like, that's just part of the guitar, you know, this is part of the essence of, so, but then that's not to say I don't like relicing at all. I don't really care one way or another, to be completely honest. But personally, like if I'm getting a guitar, I'd much rather have it factory, look like factory new with the nitro finish. And then whatever marks happen is just whatever happens. And then that just makes it look cool. And I don't even try to go for the Stevie Ray Vaughan type of thing, because like, I noticed, at least with my skin, the finishes don't wear off. They mostly chip off. There's one area. Is there one area on one of my white Strats? I feel like there's one area on one of my white Strats where it actually legitimately. Nah. There's no like rub wear on any of my guitars that I can think about it now. It's always like nicks and chips. And the paint like chips off, you know, like rather than, you know how like people see Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar and they think that it's just like it rubs in and off and stuff like that. None of my guitars with nitro finishes have done that. But also, I guess the formula is different. The nitro formula from back then is different than nitro formula now. So, whatever. See me hit it? You want to see me hit the weed? You want to see me hit the weed? Man, in that case, I might have to give in to peer pressure. These are some good pre-rolls. I paid, you see this, $1. I don't know if it's zooming in all good. Probably not. But it's $1. It's $1 for the pre-roll. Shouts out to Jeff. Appreciate the support, Jeff. You know, I see you on the Instagram side too. I be paying attention to people that support. Even though I know sometimes people think that no. Even though I might say some things that make people feel a type of way, and I don't mean it towards them people. Don't be a hit dog hollering. Just know, I'm the type of person, just know if you genuinely fuck with me, just know I genuinely fuck with you. And anything that I might say that may offend you, just know that it's never meant towards you because I know and I feel the genuinality. The genuinality. I like that word, genuinality. It's not a word, but I made it a word. Genuinality. Just know that. This goddamn pre-roll is hard to just fuck to open. Jeez. Pardon my language. They're blowing bubbles over there, so there must be some children over there. But yeah, as far as the gear talk, pedal boards. Let's talk pedal boards. Let's talk some pedal boards. So my ideal pedal board is what I actually have, or had when I was have always had. So if we're just going for the Jimmy tones, then it's just the threefold vintage fuzz or a vintage wah. If I had to pick a single fuzz, it'd be a BC 183 fuzz face. And a unique vibe, right? Then you can add a this fucking pre-roll is hard as fuck to open. You can add an overdrive, like a nice, clean, transparent overdrive. Is what I like. Because here's the thing, this is part of the reason why I like fuzz faces and I kind of stick with fuzz faces a lot, is not really because of the Jimmy thing. The Jimmy thing helps, but it's because of what it sounds like to me and what it delivers. And the way, if you've got your amp turned up, real good and you're having the fuzz face eat from the amp, what happens is you can sometimes basically, like, I could step on the fuzz and roll my fuzz back and you wouldn't know that I had the fuzz on. You'd think it would just be my basic clean tone, straight up. Or you'd maybe think it was an overdriven tone at the very most. But I could also turn the fuzz off, turn my guitar volume all the way up, and you'd think I had the fuzz on. So it's just like you find that balance. Once you find that balance, boom, everything is where I like it to be. Because the thing about my setup and my everything was I am completely content with what I have. Everything. My heads, the Sligo heads that I have, those are the heads that I want. If I were to get another amp, it'd easily be a Jazz Chorus. Jazz Chorus would be my next amp that I would get outside of like the Marshall type heads and stuff like that, or the Sligo heads that I have back in Australia. Cabs and speakers, pretty much the same thing. Like, I don't really care about the cab as long as like it's just a good cab. Like, if it's made with good woods, like birch woods, and do I know the difference between fucking birch wood and plywood if I heard it? Probably not, honestly. But if birch is the top of the tops, and fuck birch wood and some creamback speakers, I might have, like, if I had 3 heads, like let's just say I had 3 heads running, or 3 stacks running, I probably have 2 stacks with greenbacks and creambacks, and then 1 stack in the middle with creambacks and Alnico creams, because I love what Alnico creams do with clean tones. But I feel like my fuzz tone did suffer once I switched over to Alnico creams. So go figure. The clean tones got better, but fuzz tones, I feel like, suffered just ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. It's like if you go back and watch my videos or anything that I did from like 2017 to 2019, basically before I moved to Australia, if you listen to the fuzz tones, in my opinion, they actually a little bit better than anything I played after that. So, so it's all about picking your poison, doing the thing. But yeah, I think that's it as far as pedal board. So yeah, whatever nice, clean, transparent overdrive is, doesn't necessarily have to be a Klon. It could even be a Klon clone. Just something that when I step on it, it gives me exactly what my tone is, but just more. AKA boost my high mids a little bit and boost my trebles a bit. Everything else stays the same. I don't want any kind of like extra like dirt from that unless I dial the dirt in, because that's one of my issues with a lot of overdrives is like sometimes with some certain overdrives you can't dial the dirt out. Even if you have like the gain knob turned all the way down, there's still a little bit of dirt that just is inherently in the pedal, and it's just like fuck, like I don't want that, especially when I got the drive all the way down. So that can get a little bit annoying. So this is why I prefer a clean overdrive for that particular reason, because I like what I got. Like people are in search for this and that. I haven't been in search of tone since like I can't even fucking remember. Like I try to tell people, I was telling people on Instagram, like the last bit of gear that I bought was in 2020, and that was some speakers. That was the Alnico Cream speakers. That was the last bit of gear I bought. So any gear that I got any time since then was all like given to me. So shouts out to the people who helped out with that. Shouts out Nico Sabatius. Appreciate you. Shouts out to Rick Weaver at R Weaver Effects. Appreciate you. Shouts out Rama Satri. Rama Satria. Big bro Rama Satri. The warrior. That's family. Shouts out to Rama. Rama gave me a uh I was gonna call it a Texas Squareface, but it's a Texas Squareface clone. But what is it called? Troop Troop Face. The Troop Face is actually really, really good. It's a great fuzz because it basically sounds exactly like a BC-183 fuzz face, which is pretty much my favorite fuzz face of all time. Actually, no, my favorite fuzz face of all time was a Germanium. But the reason why it was my favorite, it wasn't because it was the golden one. It was because through my rig, listen to these words, through my rig, it just had a bit more high mids and treble, and that's what I like with my fuzz tone, that extra bit, because like when you turn the fuzz knob all the way up, to me that's the difference between one fuzz face to another. It's not like the rollback tones a lot of time, like, because literally if you put a really good BC-183 fuzz face next to a really good Germanium, you'll be hard pressed to know which one is which just by the rollback tones. Now, if you've played them enough, you'll know which one is which by when you roll the guitar volume all the way up, because then they like the characteristics are slightly different at that level. But all the rollback tones are pretty much very, very similar. So saying all that to say, my favorite was actually a 1968 Germanium fuzz face. A legit 1968 was my favorite one. And like I said, it just had like this, it had like this extra ring on the top end. Just ever so slightly had more top end than all the other fuzz faces that I had. So that's why it was my favorite. It's not, oh, it had more gain than the next one, or a lot of times people just plainly put, a lot of times people don't know how to use these pedals because they're trying to use them in ways that that's not how they were intended when you're trying to get said tones. You're trying to get Jimmy tones, you're trying to play through like a Marshall, 5 watt, whatever, you know, and you got it, the volume at 2. And then, you got the fuzz face knobs all dialed in at 10. And you're trying to, you think it's the fuzz that sounds like shit. It's like, if one of these factors sounds bad between you, the fuzz, and the amp, I can guarantee it's not the fuzz. So now you got to pick what is it now? Is it the amp or is it you? Sometimes, a lot of times, it's actually the amp. And this remedy could simply be rectified by taking that volume knob and just whoosh, not even to 10. Good like 7, 6. You be good. The Tony Fuzz Face and Vibe settings. Yeah. I'm claiming those too, by the way. I hate to say it, I hate to toot my own horn, but I swear to God, that's the thing. If you go back and check the history, everybody had the knobs all the way up. That was the popular thing. Some people would maybe have the vibe at like volume all the way up, which is what you want to do on the vibe, and then the actual vibe at like 8, 9. Some people was doing that, but for the most part, everybody had them all up. Or if they were playing a Fender amp, they'd have like the fuzz on the fuzz face all the way up, and then the volume at like 10 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock or so. I remember these settings because I used to play with those settings and think, this is not good. How does that work out for people? I don't understand. And then I realized like it was a twofold factor. It was, one is but a lot of times it has to do with the amp circuit, and then other times it has to do with simply the volume, which I understand. I get it. Like, I'm very much in a situation now where not only do I have an amp, but even if I did have an amp, I would not be able to play that motherfucker past like 3 right now. So I get it. However, this is the one thing that does bother me, is when people start to judge the actual gear based on their lack of being able to play in a position where you can just crank it up and actually see. That's why I remember at one point, I think on my Instagram, I was like, if you guys want, you send me your pedal and I'll just like go on live and step on, like, if it's a fuzz, just step on the fuzz and you can hear what your fuzz sounds like at full potential. So like, you have a good fuzz. Cause I just be thinking like, I'll be playing louder than like the pedal builders. If I'm playing louder than the pedal builders, then like, but anyway, lemon cherry gelato. We're gonna hit this and we're gonna talk about this lemon cherry gelato real quick. Lots of bad. Oh yeah, there's a lot of bad info online. Run the amp lower volume. Try to correct the. Yeah, that vibe intensity. Have it at a good 6. And the thing is, you don't know it until you know it. What happens is, when people are listening for that vibe, or those Jimmy vibe tones specifically. Actually, let me light this joint. Okay. Yeah, but when So like, oh, it's still going. The one gripe I have about Murphy's Ridge is the pre-rolls at the end when they pack them. They did it kind of. They did a little sloppy. So, but it was $4, so I'm not gonna bitch. Okay, so go back to the vibes. The thing about the vibes is the way I discovered six was his prime spot was because when you're listening for those Jimmy tones, just that sort of like that, like when you think about even Machine Gun, every like you'll notice sometimes people play Machine Gun and they'll add a wah in the intro, and I'm just like, I hate when I hear that. It pisses me off. Like that is the one thing I will say is the most annoying. I guess everybody has their own version to do whatever. We all have free range to play whatever song the way we want to play it. It's a free country, it's a free world, you know what I'm saying? I get it. However, I hate hearing Machine Gun when people play with a wah, because that's only out of lack. It's a lack of know-how. There's no wah in Machine Gun. You just need to have a decent vibe and know how to work the vibe. So anyway, when you're trying to get that sort of thing going on with the vibe, what I've noticed is if you're using a Marshall head or a similar circuit to what Jimmy was using, three factors. Actually, there's a few. The bass setting on the amp, the presence, and the treble. Those are three factors outside of where you dial it in on the vibe. Those are three big factors. The bass, because you don't want to have too much body to where the treble of the quack doesn't shine through. Then it'll start to be. You don't want that. You want more. So you have to. And the bass is really easy too, because with those circuits, you don't really need much of any bass with those circuits. Like with my amps at home, I have my bass at like 2. So you just find the sweet spot wherever you want, and like around like wherever you want. But for me, it was around like, that was good. That tasted like some fucking ice cream. That was good. That was real good. Like my mouth is coated. It's like candy coated. But anyway, yeah. So is the bass is the easiest one to dial in, because you basically anywhere around 2 and below. Like rarely are you going to, or do you need to add any more bass than 3? Because the speakers themselves should be doing the work. Especially like I wasn't even using the bass speakers. Like, you know how they say Jimmy used the bass frequency selections or whatever, or the heavy magnet ones. I think the heavy magnet ones have a bit more bottom end or body and bass or whatever. I always use medium magnets. So I guess I might have had to dial in my bass just a little bit more. So if you're using heavy magnets, you might not even need any bass. But anyway, then the presence kind of makes the vibe shine a little bit. I can't really describe what I mean by that more than shine. As a guitar player, if you know vibes, you know tones, you should be able to understand what I'm saying with that. And just like it just shines a bit more. And then obviously, 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 the treble. I usually set my treble to around where I have my volumes, and my volumes generally are around like eight, eight or so. So my volume's around eight. So now that you got those three factors in, boom. So yeah, if you add too much intensity on the vibe, then it doesn't let that quack, that ring through. It's just more. Woof, woof. So be like, think Machine Gun. Let's say Machine Gun was played at six, around six on the intensity. Now, we do know by picture at this point, if you look at that picture of Woodstock he's playing, the intensity was right around six. You can kind of see it in one of the pictures. It was right there. And Rama was the one that showed me. Rama, see, shouts out to Rama. Because even before I knew, I was so sure just based on my personal, like, experiments, my personal tone experiments, if you will. I was sure that six was right around where he played it. So, and then Rama sent me the picture, and it was a more high res picture of a picture that everybody knows or sees of like Jimmy, Woodstock and he's playing. You can see like the you can see like the wah, the fuzz, and the vibe. But like when you can see the vibe, you can see where the knob is, and it's right at where six would be. So, but I knew before I knew because I played it like real life experience. It's kind of like making yourself a primary source. You're always going to be a better source if you're the primary one, right? All right then. Now I'm talking about the intro. You talk about the chicka 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 chicka. I'm talking about the like the first like 3 seconds. I was doing that with Holton smoking. I probably sounded dumb as hell. But yeah, so that's that. Um, so anyway, pro tip. I've said this before and I'll say it again. And I don't mean no harm, no foul, no nothing towards pedal builders, nothing like that. Because at the end of the day, you all, as the people who buy the pedals, steer the demand of what is what. So if a pedal builder knows that they can make something close to the original or as close as they can get to the original, but they know that the market doesn't really want the actual original tones and what all comes with it, they'll make something that's more applicable to the modern fan or the modern market. So this is why we have vibes today like they are. All those pedal builders can make vibes exactly like the old ones if they wanted to, but what they probably realize is you all don't want those vibes. As much as you say that you want them, you really don't. The reason being is because when I put my old vibes or my unique vibe at six on the intensity, if y'all do that with y'all vibes, that's me putting my vibe on about nine or eight. So that's one thing I've noticed. A lot of pedal builders, it's not that they aren't able to make a product that's as close as you can get to the original. They realize that you guys don't want that. It's just like fuck it. Why put that out in the market if you guys don't actually want that? Or when you get it, you'd complain about it or say this isn't as intense as I thought it should be, or blah 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 blah. And it's just like, well, that's because you never played an original. You don't know what the original. You're just guessing based off of Hendrix records or Robin Trower records. Or Pink Floyd records. So But yeah, shouts out to all the vibe builders because they all make great products. At least that I played. Like I said, there was one that said he was gonna send me one, but never did. That was back in 2019. I'll never forget that. Still waiting on that one. Now will be a crucial time. You know what I'm saying? You feel me, shouting? At a time where I don't have no pedals, if you told me you was gonna send me a pedal and you never did, this would be a great time. A magnificent time, actually. Thank you. You got a unique too, Jeff? Shouts out, Jeff. You got a unique. Hell yeah. You are in the rare unique club. Because there's not many of us. Shit, I didn't know Jeff. I mean, not Jeff. I didn't know Jim had stopped making them until somebody told me. Actually, I think it was Nick Perry that told me. It was, in fact, Nick Perry that told me. He was like, yeah. And I was like, no way. And he was like, yep. Jim, I guess he stopped making them. So, but that's my favorite non-actual vintage. Here's the way I say it. I say having a unique is pretty much just as good as having an original. And then you put everything else in the bracket. So like if you had to do a tier list, the S tier would be a good original and a unique. And I say a good original, I mean like a good Hendrix era original, and then a unique. Then everything falls in the, well, I'm not gonna say everything else falls in line, because again, like just because it's not vintage, here's a huge thing. Just because it doesn't sound vintage doesn't mean it doesn't sound fucking amazing. At the end of the day, I played the Teeny Vibe 68. I think that's an amazing vibe. I played the what is this, the Scarlet vibe. I think that's also an amazing vibe too. Um, Steve at Venus Witch, he's done a couple of his own vibes, and honestly, I'd put things that I've heard Steve play in S tier as well. Yeah, so there's a lot of excellent vibes. I can only go from like what I've played in rooms, so a unique um, Scarlet vibe and the Teeny 68, which again, all magnificent vibes across the board, all great vibes. There's little things in here, like when I was in Australia, I was taking the Teeny vibe out. The couple times that I did get to take it out, that was the one I chose to take out, not because it sounded the best, because honestly, it was a toss up. I felt like the Teeny vibe and the Scarlet could really toss up. It really depends. One thing I noticed between those two is in the room, I liked one better, but then on video, I liked the other one better. It was weird. Like in the room, I always felt like I liked the Teeny vibe better, but on video, I always felt like I liked the Scarlet vibe better, or maybe it's vice. I can't remember which one it was, to be honest. But that was my experience. Hey,
Your room smells so much like weed. It smells good. Smells good. How you doing?
pretty good. How about you?
I'm alright. I went down to the beach. Yeah, it's really nice here. Beautiful climate.
Indeed, it is.